Okay, we want to talk about how to use images within the classic mode. And images can be standalone images, so we could just drag this into the scene and use it as a standalone image. And if you click on it, we have our options here that we can reposition, scale it up, rotate it, and do all the things we can do with other objects within our scene tree. Furthermore, we can use images to texture our geometry plugins. So let's go ahead and drag a 3D object up into our scene tree, and we'll just throw a cube up there for now. We'll get rid of that other image. So first, what we can do is drag any image that we want onto the cube. And if we drag a picture on here, you can see what is happening. And if we click on the image, it takes us into the image editor, and we have a couple of options here. First, it shows you the image. If you click on that, it will highlight it where it is within the folder and tell you where that selected is within the asset view in your folder structure. There's also an alpha channel here, so we can slide an alpha up onto that as well. So if you have an image within your database that you could use, such as a black and white image, you could slide that up in there and combine that as well. And then if you want to drag that to the trash, you can just slide that to the trash can. We also have a wrap mode, and here you can see by default it's on repeat. We can also change that to clamp, and that's the result you get when you get the clamp. We have a color alpha, we have a color, and an alpha. So whichever setting you want to use for that, you can. There's also a constant color, and if you click on that, it again brings up our familiar color wheel where you can use your HSV, RGB, hex, and or a picker to select a color. Below that, there's the transformation mode, and this is where we can change the position of it on the X and or the Y. And we also have our center points that we can change on this image as well. And the rotation of the image, we have an X, Y, and Z setting for that, and then the scaling as well. At any time, if you make a change within the settings, you can just double click back on your little parameter icon, and that will reset everything. So our Z is blue, and if we double click on it, you see that it now turns gray because we reset it, and we can just go ahead and do that for all of these if we want. Further down, we have our mapping mode, and this is where it comes in as linear by default, hence why we have these edges here. Now we have other options here. We can change it to Vertex, and Vertex will fill the object with it. And as we rotate this cube around, you can see the difference between what each setting is doing. So here you can see we have it on Vertex, and that will place it on every side of the cube. But when we go back to our mapping and change it to linear, now you can see it just maps that onto one face of the cube. We also have an option for reflection. So if we wanted to make this cube more reflective, we could, and then once you change it, you can also come up again up to the parameters and readjust scaling position whichever you need. There's also a spherical setting, a cylindrical setting, and also a cube setting. And notice as we change each one of these two, you'll get option to change the parameters here as well. If it gives you the option, it will make these areas active. If you don't have the option, it will gray them out. Below that, there's also a multi-texturing. So we can use multiple textures within here and then set an inheritable hierarchy. So we can have up to 4 images that we can use, and if you want to, and there's another video on that to check that out. Below that, there's a quality where it's set to bitmap by default. You can also change that to pixel. We also have linear as well, and this is one of these settings that you'll want to pay attention to if you're having trouble optimizing scenes, because if you have a lot of images, you'll obviously want to keep the performance in real time. So the couple of other settings that you have here, the effect, so you can change this to smooth and or you can change it to mosaic. There's also a blur that we can add within our images and a compression. Again, if performance is an issue for you, then you'll want to take it all the way down to DXT5. But if it's not so much an issue, then you can just keep it on none. And then we have a mode down here. We have a blend. We have a decal. We also have a modulate, add signed, and interpolate. Now a lot of this will depend on what type of image you're using and what you have in your background or what else you have going in and around in your scene. So that's the basic overview of the texture parameters within Vizrt T5 in the classic mode. a lot of the design that you're doing will come down to the images that you're using. So if you don't like the images, obviously, that this one presented as a reflection, we can always change that out. And you can just simply swap images in and out within the container if you want to try something new. So here we can just slide a new image in there, and again, you just need to come over to your transformation and find the setting or settings that work best for your scene design.